everyone, welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus insight into what it all means. Joining us as always is AMC Movie News Editor-in-Chief, John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the show, coming to you live from the Stream.tv studios here in Hollywood, California. And I did say live, we're actually testing out doing a live stream again today, and we're so glad you've made us a part of your day.
Also here is AMC Movie News Editor, Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hello, lovelies. Snow and rain couldn't stop me. I'm back from New York and happy to reunite with you all.
Also at the table is AMC Movie News Entertainment Correspondent, Erin Darling.
Hey everyone, traffic and sunshine couldn't stop me either. I made it. I made it, guys. I'm here.
Also here is writer-director John Schnepp.
Being trapped by cave trolls on the moon. I got into the escape pod, just got here literally 3 seconds ago. What's up?
Game of Thrones and Conan star Jason Momoa recently came close to landing the role of Drax the Destroyer in the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy film for Marvel. But now it appears he may be showing up in an even bigger property, Batman vs. Superman in 2015. According to reports, Momoa is in negotiations to appear in an unspecified role for the DC film, although many are speculating he could either be the film's villain or perhaps another superhero, such as Jon Jones the Martian Manhunter. John, what would you think of Momoa joining Batman vs. Superman as either a villain or a hero?
I'd be totally fine with it, as a matter of fact. I actually made a case last year that I actually thought Jason Momoa was one of my top picks to actually be Batman. Now, a lot of people, here's a classic mistake film fans make. We see a great movie and we just assume, we make this wild connection that, oh, if anybody who was in that great movie then was great. We see a bad movie, we just automatically make a connection that anybody that was in that bad movie was bad. And that's not the case. And I think Jason Momoa is a really good example of that. We talk about Conan a lot. Didn't quite live up to our hopes and our dreams and our expectations. But I always contended that even though I was let down by the movie, I thought Jason Momoa did a really solid job. I thought he did almost the impossible, which was to take the character of Conan, not do a cheap Arnold imitation, and somehow find a way to make it his own, and he did. I thought he was great in Game of Thrones. I really thought he was really good as the villain in that last Sylvester Stallone movie. Well, to that, I thought he was a great villain in that, showing off his martial arts chops and things like that. I think he is a solid, decent actor. I put him on the same level as The Rock. Not as much charisma or natural charm or ability, but in acting ability, I put him on the same level as The Rock, so I'm fine with this. Now, this brings up an issue I've been reading a lot online today about people saying, well, if he's not the villain, because some people are speculating Doomsday, I doubt they're going to blow their load with Doomsday on this early of a film. But if he's another hero, Martian Manhunter, Lobo, whatever, people are starting to already say it's too crowded. You know what I mean? You got Wonder Woman in there, you got Batman, you got Superman, now you got Martian Manhunter, too crowded. Okay, Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. How many characters are in Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers? You got Frodo, Sam, the two other little hobbits running around. You got Gandalf, you got Strider, you got Gimli, you got Orlando Bloom, you got the King of Rohan, you got the guy whose bones now in Star Trek. Bones in Star Trek.
Yeah,
Carl Urban.
Urban.
You got Carl Urban in
Dread.
there.
Yeah.
You got the sneaky little sniveling guy with the King of Rohan. You've got Sauron. Or you got Saruman. You got you got 20 characters in there.
Smeagol.
Is that you got Smeagol? You got Gollum, of course. How can I miss that?
Come on.
And then on and on. You got Liv Tyler. You got that other little blonde girl that was hot for
Saruman's
Strider.
friend, Wolf Tongue or Blood Tongue.
Yeah,
or
Worm Tongue.
Tongue.
I mean, you can lift off 20 different characters. This is not, and it wasn't overcrowded. It all depends on how they handle the film. And I'll be honest with you, I've been saying for a long time that I believe that the way DC should handle their universe is the opposite of the way Marvel's handled theirs. It worked for Marvel to have individual film, individual film, individual film, individual film, Avengers. I think DC needs to go the other way. I think they need to, in one of their early films, maybe this one, get all these characters in there and then launch individual franchises from there. And so I'm kind of encouraged by what I'm seeing. Now, that's just me. Schnepp, how do you see it?
Well, I mean, Zack Snyder did do Watchmen, which had, characters all woven together. I mean, and what they're talking about with this Man of Steel, too, is that Batman's been around already. He's been around for a long time. So, I don't know about Jason Momoa playing Martian Manhunter, I mean, I could see him as playing Doomsday, you know?
I could too, actually.
You know, I mean, but but if you read the comics, you remember that he doesn't talk. He's just a creature with bone shards that kills people.
And Zack Snyder also had like 300 characters in, what's the name of that movie?
700.
I lost it.
400. Yeah.
Anyway, Amy Rose, how do you see all this?
I don't think it's a question here of feeling too crowded. I just don't want this to already be the Justice League movie. I want a Superman, Batman movie. I still want it to be, you know, last on Krypton's film, and then adding Wonder Woman. Sure, she's not going to be, you know, a pivotal part. I don't think it will be an introduction, but I don't want Manhunter in here. I don't want all these, the Flash to pop up yet because I want my separate Justice League film. So while it's not too crowded, Lord of the Rings, X-Men's my favorite film ever.
In there.
So I don't really think it's a question of characters. I just don't want this to be the platform. I want it to transition nicely into our own separate Justice League movie. Now Jason Momoa, I mean, the Dothraki King rises, Night rises. He's the man. I love him so much. I don't think he's an incredible actor yet. I don't think I've seen enough for him to shine. I mean, again, he wasn't speaking our language in that one, but he looked real nice. And he was badass. He's a warrior, and I do think that he deserves another opportunity to really show us his chops. Another one would be John Corbin, who would be a good character because he brought in Kryptonite and Metallo. And I think that would be a good character because, you know, Superman, Batman, all of that, and that would explain how why Superman would actually be a worthy opponent here, you know? Otherwise, we're just going to see Superman bang him down, you know?
You know, it's funny. For a second there, I thought you said Josh Corbin. I thought you really want to see him play a slightly effeminate opera singer?
I would love that. I think that would be great. I think that would really bring this new generation. But no, I think that he deserves a shot. I do think he would be interesting. Doomsday, I do want to see this end in Doomsday. I do. But I don't think, like you said, blow their load just yet. I don't think that's going to happen. So yes, I'm excited to see how this unfolds. I think Lobo would be the most, best fit for it here.
For Jason Momoa, yeah. Lobo, it's a natural fit, but then, you know, that's maybe he's just hired just for the post-credits teaser, like showing up on a bike and be like, what? And then, you know, I don't know.
You think they're going to go bike, like 90s Lobo or 80s space-time Lobo?
It better be bike Lobo.
Aaron,
let's go galactic with it. I think Lobo would be a great opportunity to show off Momoa's chops in this movie, but at the same time, I think I want to see him in this movie, period. I think he'd be a great choice. He exudes villain. And another villain that no one's talking about that I think would be awesome on the big screen is Brainiac. I'd love to see some Brainiac action, so maybe. A
lot of people in the chat board are actually saying things, Vandal Savage, a lot of them are saying Samson, which is a good one. A number of them are saying Metallo. So a lot of possibilities of what it could be. Let's wait and see if it actually works out to be official. All right, what's next?
We've got several trailers to talk about today, but none bigger, literally and figuratively, than the first official trailer for the new Godzilla. Godzilla opens in AMC theaters everywhere on May 16th and stars Kick-Ass's Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Breaking Bad's Bryan Cranston, and Old Boy's Elizabeth Olsen. Schneb, what did you think of the first new trailer for Godzilla?
I gotta be honest, I was really underwhelmed and disappointed. I mean, you know, the teaser trailer, we saw a little bit of Godzilla, and here's the full official trailer, and we see a little bit of Godzilla, only with more smoke all over him. I don't know. I mean, I'm spoiled now by Pacific Rim, where the very first trailer, you saw robots fighting monsters. Now Godzilla is just one monster, and I'm watching a bunch of dudes jumping out of a helicopter, people scrambling around in the hospital. So I get it. It's going to be a big, you know, earthquake, 1970s style kind of movie, all about the people on the ground, kind of experiencing a traumatic event with a creature walking around. I don't know. It was very underwhelming to me. So I'm going to just patiently wait until the second trailer where they show Godzilla fight some of these monsters, and then maybe I'll get back into it. But right now, it comes out on my birthday, and I don't want to see it.
Aww.
So.
Aaron.
I differ with you, Schnepp. I really like this trailer. It got me very excited for this movie, and it kind of reminded me of, you know, if you watch a BBC documentary of like a reenactment of World War II, if they had a budget, like a really big budget and monsters, it's kind of what this reminded me of a little bit, in a good way. Didn't mean that in a negative way at all. But I'm really excited for this movie. I can't wait to see more of the monster. This trailer is kind of pulling a little bit of a Maleficent on us. You know, right at the end, you see something that's, okay, what's going on here? And then bam, that's all you get. So I think they're really trying to get us excited, leave some mystique in there, and leave the rest for the big screen.
Amy Rose?
I wasn't impressed either, and I've been really excited about this, mostly because of the cast. I mean, Bryan Cranston, all hail. He's so incredible. Elizabeth Olsen, I mean, the Olsen with talent, just kidding. She's so phenomenal. I mean, even in a film, Old Boy, which was met with mixed reviews, she still held her own. I just think she's such a dynamic actress. I love her career choices, and I don't think she would have been attracted to this if there wasn't substance. And obviously, Kick-Ass himself, he's a great actor as well. So I think they have all the elements. Who doesn't want to see another amazing Godzilla movie? But literally 30 seconds of the trailer, I'm like, what am I watching? You're supposed to hook. I mean, trailers can be so misleading in either way. But yeah, for now, it's a sell. So.
I was also underwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say I disliked it, but I was underwhelmed. Like that opening 30-second shot, though, the guys jumping out of the plane. I said, as we were watching, we all sat around here watching the trailer, and I said, that is a gorgeous shot. Like as those paratroopers are coming down out of the cloud line, the street, beautiful, but it didn't actually lead to anything. Look, I get it. They're kind of trying to do the Cloverfield thing with Godzilla, like leave it a mystery, leave it a mystery. And that's fine if you want to do little viral videos leading up and you want to do a little teaser trailer. This is a full-length trailer, and all we got was a silhouette and a bunch of people running around. I got no sense of, okay, so what's going on in this movie? What's the deal? I didn't even get a chance to get hooked on the monster because they didn't even really show it to us at all. Look, that's not to say that this movie isn't going to be fantastic and kick-ass. I have no doubt this movie is going to be fantastic and kick-ass. But if we're just going to talk about the trailer, I got to say, it left me wanting it. It wasn't deserving of all the excitement I felt the last 48 hours waiting for this trailer.
Here's one, Godzilla, a pile of scenes. That's what it felt like. It just felt like somebody just chopped some stuff together. I got no idea of a story. You see a shot of Bryan Cranston. That's it.
Crying.
Yeah.
Crying?
All right.
There was a good cry.
It was a good cry, a couple tears.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Aaron Paul's a better cry. I was just saying.
Bryan Cranston tears.
Yeah. All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show called Buy or Sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Ashley's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down, and then Schnepp, Aaron, Amy Rose, and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Ashley, what do we got?
Staying with new trailers, the first trailer for the upcoming film Jupiter Ascending has just hit the web. The film is directed by Lana and Andy Wachowski, who previously directed the Matrix films and Cloud Atlas. From the streets of Chicago to the far-flung galaxies whirling through space, Jupiter Ascending tells the story of Jupiter Jones, Mila Kunis, who was born under a night sky with signs predicting she was destined for great things. Now grown, Jupiter dreams of the stars but wakes up to the cold reality of a job cleaning other people's houses and an endless run of bad breaks. Only when Kane, Channing Tatum, a genetically engineered ex-military hunter, arrives on Earth to track her down, does Jupiter begin to glimpse at the fate that has been waiting for her all along. Her genetic signature marks her as next in line for an extraordinary inheritance that could alter the balance of the cosmos. Jupiter Ascending opens in AMC theaters on July 25th. Amy Rose, buy or sell this first trailer for Jupiter Ascending?
I'm going to buy it. I think the Wachowski siblings are just so talented and so get blending sci-fi with fantasy in such a beautiful, rich, complex way. I mean, that trailer was gorgeous, and I think this is a really good move for Mila Kunis. It's definitely a different role. The only part that took me out of the trailer was when she was flailing her arms. That was a little cheeseball, but everything else I thought was really beautiful. Channing Tatum and her look like they're going to have good chemistry, and I just love the rich worlds they create, so I'm in. Bye.
I'm going to sell this one, but not hard. I'm not going to sell it hard, but it just felt, I'm getting the same feeling from it that I got with Cloud Atlas. And I'm one of the people, everybody either completely loved Cloud Atlas or really disliked it. I was one of the guys that I was really indifferent to it. I didn't think it was all that good, but not the horrible mess that some people called it. But I'm getting the same feeling from this trailer. It doesn't take away from the fact that I'm excited about the movie, but this trailer didn't do anything to increase my excitement. Aaron?
I kind of differ from you. I'm almost on the exact opposite spectrum because I love the Wachowskis. I think they're amazing. They are creative, they're bold, but they're so fearless. I mean, their last movie, Cloud Atlas, was a bomb financially. Even though I loved it, I will forever champion that film. I enjoyed it so much, one of my favorite films of last year. But what they do after their weird failed sci-fi movie, make another weird failed sci-fi movie.
Well, not failed.
Not failed yet.
That's true, not yet. Maybe. No, just kidding. But I really love the fact that they're able to go back in there and just commit to their vision. And for that reason, I'll buy this trailer, and I will definitely be excited to see this movie.
Schnepp?
I'm going to sell it. I've already seen this movie. It's called The Matrix. This is like this is The Matrix inside out. So instead of like starting out in the fake world. Now they start in the real world.
Yeah, because Channing Tatum is kind of the Morpheus character.
Yeah.
Mila Kunis, who's kind of the Neo character.
That's what I'm saying.
Having somebody come
reveal the prophecy. Sorry, I'm asleep. I'm already bored watching the trailer. I don't care if he's got big pointy ears. I mean, bring me some more weird stuff. If the trailer 2 is extra weird, like I've seen pictures, behind the scenes pictures that were more exciting than this trailer. Like behind the scenes pictures of people with weird white makeup. I want to see something really weird from the Wachowskis, and I feel like they keep holding back. Like Cloud Atlas, I liked 2 of the 5 films that were in there, and they were both the futuristic ones. I love their take on futurism and science fiction. So those parts I did like. This trailer though leaves me cold because it just feels like a remake of something they already dealt with, and then sprinkle in some elves and some
some elves,
a couple of some other some other kind of spaceships and stuff. So I just want something more. I guess I want more from them. So I'm a jerk. But I sell it.
What's next?
And rounding out our new Trailer Tuesday comes the new Jason Bateman film, Bad Words. Bateman stars in the film, and it also marks his first directorial effort as well. Bateman stars as Guy Trilby, a 40-year-old who finds a loophole in the rules of the Golden Quill National Spelling Bee and decides to cause trouble by hijacking the competition. Contest officials, outraged parents, and overly ambitious 8th graders are no match for Guy as he ruthlessly crushes their dreams of victory and fame. As a reporter, Catherine Hahn attempts to discover his true motivation, Guy finds himself forging an unlikely alliance with a competitor who is completely unfazed by Guy's take-no-prisoner approach to life. Aaron, buy or sell the trailer for Bad Words?
I wanted to like this, but I didn't at all. I'm definitely going to sell this. I'm all for a broad definition of what constitutes as art. But here I saw racism and sexism, and this is just the trailer. These are the highlights of what's coming next. I'm sure many of Americans will be happy to open up their wallets and, go support this movie, but I won't be one of them. So
I buy this hard. I loved this trailer. I thought it was funny. I thought it was fantastic. I thought we got a glimpse into the. It felt a lot like Bad Santa in many ways, because you're looking at a very broken human being, and it's sometimes funny for us to go along these rides with these very broken, very wrong human beings. But also, I got to admit, I am fascinated by the single question that comes up in the synopsis. Why is he doing what he's doing? Like the synopsis tells us, and the trailer suggests, there's actually an actual ulterior motivation that's driving him to do this. And I want to know what it is. I love Bateman. I love Catherine Hahn. I laughed a lot at this trailer. I thought it was really funny and charming. Reminds me a lot of Bad Santa. For me, it's a buy.
Oh yeah, bye. I was laughing. Jason Bateman, his feature film directorial effort, his first one. I think he's going to prove to be a great director. I thought the dialogue was very witty and of course filled with racism and sexism, and it was hilarious. I don't take myself too seriously, so I thought it was really funny. I love the dynamic between the kid and Bateman. I think their relationship's going to be hilarious on screen. So it's totally reminiscent of Bad Santa, and I thought that was clever. So it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's a buy for me as well. I watch 2 Christmas movies every day on Christmas, and
every day.
Every day.
Two Christmas movies minimum every day.
Every day. It's usually Santa Claus with Dudley Moore. I start that out, have a bit of coffee. Then I rock on over to the Santa Claus versus the Martians because I'm doing that remake with Arnold. We're working together every day now on the phone. But on Christmas, I watch Rare Exports and Bad Santa. And
so good.
You're right. This had a Bad Santa flavor to it. And I wasn't offended by it. It takes a lot to offend me, and stupidity offends me. And this film didn't have that stupidity. It had a sense of irony, and I do want to find out why he's so hateful.
What a silly premise! You nailed it.
It's hilarious. And a guy would be so spiteful and be like, "Aha! I beat the 8th graders."
Right?
Parents are irritated. I'm gonna follow this guy on his weird ride for 2 hours.
And Catherine Hahn, I love her.
Yeah, it'll be really neat to see her. Hopefully, she's better than she was in Secret World of Jack Walter Mitty. Walter Mitty.
Jack Reacher.
All right, what's next?
It's being reported that Paramount Pictures is moving forward with developing a sequel to the recent Jack Reacher film. The first Jack Reacher made nearly $220 million at the worldwide box office, and reports suggest the new film will be based on the most recent Reacher novel, Never Go Back. Paramount is hoping to re-sign director Christopher McQuarrie for the sequel, whose next film is Mission Impossible 5, re-teaming with his Jack Reacher star Tom Cruise. John, buy or sell Jack Reacher sequel?
Oh yeah, I buy it. I've been saying for a while that I quite enjoyed Jack Reacher, and it's one of those films that I went into with not a lot of expectations, and it really entertained me. I thought the third act was a little bit weak, especially the last 15 minutes or so. I didn't like the way they wrapped up the movie, a little bit cop-outish, but honestly, the majority of the film, I really liked the character. I thought Cruise was quite good in it. I thought it was well directed. I thought it was well paced. I thought the story was intriguing. That whole opening sequence about the shooter doing his stuff and then figuring out what the heck is going on here had me in. So I thought it was a nice little film, and I think this character, Jack Reacher, deserves another film. And it will be interesting to see if they can get Christopher back to direct, because now this will be his and Tom Cruise's third film working together, to see how that chemistry kind of evolves. So for me, it's a buy. Amy Rose?
Yeah, also buy. I didn't think Jack Reacher was a work of art by any means, but it was a fun time. And, you know, I'm willing to give myself, like I say a lot, to cinema with that, not pull apart the holes. It's a fun action, good time. Tom Cruise still has it, in my opinion, to really carry a film. He's a very dynamic, good action star, and I do like what him and McQuarrie did, and I think it will be interesting to watch his, you know, rendition of the Ethan Hunt character in that, and also come back to do this after if it happens. So yeah, I'm a buy.
Schnepp?
Yeah, I'm going to buy it too. I really like Jack Reacher. And it was a different enough role for Tom Cruise where he wasn't playing the Mission Impossible character. He was actually playing a different character.
Yeah, a different
and it had this kind of edge to it. So I seriously, I hope Chris McQuarrie comes back. That would be my hope, and then he writes it and directs it.
He's not writing it, apparently.
He's not writing it.
But they're hoping to get him back as a director.
Well, I mean, you know, maybe then it's an iffy. You know, maybe he's not going to, he's like, hey, you know, maybe I'll do another film with Tom Cruise in a few years. Who knows? But if I would hope that he would come back, because I thought there was some kind of a magical spark that could be reignited. Unfortunately, they can't bring back Werner Herzog. Spoilers.
Oh. I'm going to buy this as well. I think this is a no-brainer for the studio. Tom Cruise, hit or miss sometimes in the States, but overseas, he is definitely a star.
Oh, yeah.
And this movie made about $218 million worldwide. So I love the fact that the studio is thinking globally. So, of course, I'm going to buy this.
All right, what's next?
According to reports, although Captain America: The Winter Soldier opens in AMC theaters on April 4th, the film is getting ready to go back for a little over 2 weeks of reshoots and new filming. Some are speculating that this is a bad sign for the new Marvel film. Jeanette, buy or sell that Captain America going back for reshoots this late is a bad sign?
Wow, this is like just really horrible news, guys. I buy this. They've done this on every Marvel movie. They did it on Thor. It's just they're like finessing it. So I'm not worried that they're going back and reshooting. I'm actually excited. They're probably tinkering and adding a few scenes, or like, hey, it'd be great if we, you know, plussed this or plussed that. So that's what it's, you know, I think Marvel's done this on every single one of their films. They even did it with Captain America, the first one, the first Avenger. They went back and reshot a few scenes or added a few scenes. So it's, for me, it's a buy. I think they're just going to add to it. So.
Yeah, so I think you're selling that it's a bad sign. I will also sell that it's a bad sign.
Oh, I see. Yes, let me correct myself. Let me resell and unbuy it, and that I'm all for it.
I'm also going to sell that this is a bad sign for a couple of reasons. Number one, you've had situations before where movies are just turning out to be a complete mess, and they go back for 3 or 4 months of reshoots. This is 2 weeks of reshoots. That means they've got a few things they want. Like you said, they want to finesse, and maybe a couple extra little things they want to add. So there's nothing bad to be worried about there. But you also pointed out, Marvel, this is par for the course for Marvel. They do this, and they go back. And the stuff they did for Thor ended up adding to that film so much. Those extra scenes they put in with Loki, things like that. I think, and I love the fact that Kevin Feige and the guys at Marvel are the types of filmmakers that are willing to sit back, look at what they got, and they go, you know what? We got some time. Let's make this better. And they'll go back in there and do it better. So for me, completely sell the notion that this is a bad sign. Aaron.
I'm also going to sell that this is a bad sign as well. We've seen this happen time and time again. It's no longer a death sentence for a movie anymore. So I think we can all agree that it's fine if they're going to go back and make some changes or modify things.
Amy Rose?
Yes, also selling it. I think that we can put our faith in Marvel continuously. All of the films they've released, whether it be the Avengers or the standalone films of each of the characters, I have absolutely loved. I think they have the formula down to a science. This isn't the month before the big release, so it's not really a red flag at this point. And the Russos, I'm really excited to see their take of it. And yeah, I'm not worried about it at all. Everything I've seen about it looks great. So add some more goodness.
All right, folks, well, listen, before we get to the mailbag, I want to remind you that there's this little film opening this week in AMC theaters everywhere called The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, and it's awesome. We will do our review of it in the coming days, but I just love this film. Now, I recently had a chance to go and sit down and talk with the cast of the film. Yesterday, I shared a bit of my conversation with one of the stars of the film, Benedict Cumberbatch, and today I want to share with you my conversation with one of the new characters in the Hobbit universe, played by Miss Evangeline Lilly. Check it out. Congratulations on the film. And I shouldn't start with this, but I need to. As one of the millions of people who grew up reading the book and feels very protective of it.
Yes, good.
And like one of my all-time favorite scenes in the book is the barrel ride. And so I was nervous that you guys might make some changes to it, and you did. Best action sequence I've seen in a film all year. It was incredible.
Great.
Talk a little bit about that scene and what you had to put into to make that scene happen.
Well, that scene was it was like a patchwork quilt. So most of us involved in it had really no idea what that scene was going to look like. We knew what we had to do on that specific day of shooting, and we would come and blindly do it and just trust that Peter was putting something amazing together. And as it turns out, you know, he was, and usually what I've been learning through seeing the results is that the less we know, the better the results are on screen. But it's funny because what you said about the things that you were worried about having changed. My favorite part of The Hobbit was when the dwarves get led astray on the path by the flickering lights in the forest in Mirkwood because the Sylvan Elves are having their crazy drunken parties. And of course that didn't end up in the film, and I was like, I want to have a crazy drunken party. Anyway, sorry.
So, you know, one of the really neat things that we know going into the film is that, and you get a sense from it right away, is that you will have a profound effect on Legolas. And because we see he's a different character in this film, and the difference between here and Lord of the Rings is you. And you know, one of the things I loved about this film was right near the end, without giving anything away, you face this decision to stay in one place or to go and follow Legolas to do something else. And we just get the feeling that your decision will have ramifications going forward. How do you see that relationship between her and Legolas, and how's that we going to see that evolve as we go forward?
Well, obviously, as you know, I can't give anything away about how it will evolve as we go
true.
forward. But I do think it's insightful for you to feel that is significantly the difference between Legolas in Rings and Legolas in The Hobbit. And what I think the writers did really brilliantly is at the end of the third film, they're able to tie these three films into the three Rings films through Legolas.
And now you can tell us how exactly.
Yeah, exactly. No, sir.
Well, listen, congratulations on the film. One of my favorite films of the year. So great. We can't wait to have it on AMC screens.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug opens in AMC theaters everywhere this week, but tickets are available now. As a matter of fact, on Thursday, there is a double feature of the first and second Hobbit films. Get all your information by going over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show for Mailbag, and here's how this works. If you've got a topic or a question you would like us to address in the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, every day we take a little bit of time and take a couple of questions. Ashley's got a few of them pulled out right now, so Ashley, what do we got?
Ralph Terry writes, hello, AMC Movie Talk. My question is, now that Disney owns all the rights to everything from Lucasfilm, should they either remake or reboot Willow? With the advancement of special effects since it came out in 1988, where did time fly? I think that this could become a prime Disney franchise. What do you think?
I would love a Willow remake. I think it is one of those films that is prime for a remake. I think a lot of the general movie-going audience today hasn't seen the original. I think it's a wonderful story that would benefit from modern visual effects, and I think it's a story that would resonate with audiences today. So, and once again, my whole disclaimer on remakes: if it sucks, I still got the original on my shelf, so it's okay. I think this is a prime movie set for a remake. You know, Amarius, what do you think?
Is nothing sacred?
No.
This original film was so perfect. It doesn't need the advanced technological effects.
What's that? It doesn't need an audience? Is that what you're saying? Because nobody's seen it.
Effects.
Because nobody's seen it
what
anymore.
I would prefer is for them to continue the story And to give us a new film or even a prequel, I'm okay with that. But to remake such a perfect film, in my opinion, this remains one of my favorites ever. Val Kilmer at his best, that was like the best character ever. And I mean, Willow, look at that face. I mean, he's so great. So I love this film. It's fantastical and magical, and I just really don't think, sure, every film could be remade with, you know, the state of technology where we're at, but I just think it's so nostalgic and wonderful on its own that we don't need to see that. But I would like to see the story continued, and I think there's a lot of amazing different plot lines and storylines that they could go down with this world, because it's so rich.
Erin?
I think it's been long enough to the point where it could definitely benefit from a reboot instead of continuing the storyline, because we have a whole new generation of fans that should be reintroduced to a reimagining of this story, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. I would love to see this on the big screen.
Watch the original!
But they don't! That's what gets me! They don't! It's funny to me that some people think like a movie is just so great and so classic, let's keep it hidden and make sure nobody today watches it, because they won't. Now, whether they should, that's something we can agree on. They all should go out and rent the original Willow and go watch it. But the reality is they're not, and they're not going to, and they have a greater chance of seeing it if they relaunch it. I want more people introduced to it, that's all, but I agree with you 100%. If people are not renting Willow, the original for the kids, child services should be called, and they should be taken away. Anyway, Shep, how do you see this?
I agree with Amy Rose. I was going to say the same thing. I would much rather see like it come out in 2018, 30 years later, begin with Warwick Davis as an old man. Val Kilmer's fat chugging to me.
Yes.
And there's this whole like adventures have happened for 30 years. They have kids. It's like the new Star Wars movies. You can like jump right in and be like, now the adventures of their kids, and then you kind of weave that into the original Willow. More people would then you would reinvigorate the original Willow.
Now, I am totally, just to be clear, I'm totally down with your idea. I would be totally up for a sequel with a fat Val Kilmer chugging some meat.
He doesn't even have to gain weight for that one.
I mean, I'd be totally in for that. But I'm just answering the question, saying, do you think Willow would benefit from a reboot? And yes, I do. But I would be totally down for it.
It would benefit, but I just think like there's movies that seem like, oh, let's reboot them, like Total Recall, which was a bad movie, but it's not a bad idea to reboot it.
Right.
Like I was all into like, hey, I'd love to see another version of a dude on a spy mission on Mars, you know, like with a lot of action. So that's basically kind of what Total Recall is, with memory lapses and what's real, what's not, that kind of thing.
But this stands up.
This can actually benefit from a direct sequel, because then not only are you reinvigorating the thing as a franchise, which is what Disney's all about, you know. I just think, hopefully, someone from Disney's watching.
Listen to us.
Hey, listen, before we get to the next mailbag question, I'm going to say we're going to take just a couple of minutes. For you guys who are watching us live, throw in some questions. If you got a question you want to ask on the chat board, throw it in, and we'll take one or two questions from the chat board once we get this next mailbag question out of the way. So, Ashley, what's our last mailbag question today?
Renee Gonzalez writes, greetings and salutations. I absolutely love you guys. Keep up the great work. My question is this. Since all the Marvel films have a post-credit scene, and now sometimes twice, do you think the DC movies will also start doing this, so that we as fans can get all hyped up for the next installment? If so, do you think they'll start with the new Man of Steel sequel?
Well, let's be really clear here. Marvel didn't start the after-credit scene, trend, if you will, with all like they've been around before, and actually DC has already done after-credit sequences. One of the worst after-credit sequences, actually, in the history of film is the one for Green Lantern. Now, I'm one of the guys who, while I will be on your side and say I would give Green Lantern a negative review. I don't think Green Lantern was the hot pile mess of crap that most people think it is. I thought it had some redeeming qualities, but definitely a poor film. But the after-credit scene of the Green Lantern is so bad and so out of left field. Of course, we're talking about Sinestro, who was just painted as a complete hero. No temptation, nothing, and all of a sudden, I want the yellow power. I mean, and all of a sudden, what? It was the stupidest after-credit scene ever. So DC has already ventured into after-credit scenes. I have no doubt that in the new films, we're going to see that continue, especially with them now having a larger universe in front of them, that they're going to want to do some teasing into the next ones. So they should do it. They will do it. Marvel didn't create it, and DC's already been doing it. So anyway, Erin, how would you answer that?
I feel like DC should try really hard to try to differentiate themselves from what Marvel's doing. I don't think they're necessary. They're kind of fun little teasers for the fans, but we really don't get much out of them. I feel like they're just super short trailers, and I don't think that they're necessary, and I think DC should stay away from them and do their own thing.
It was kind of their thing, I think, before it was Marvel. Anyway, anyway, Schnapp.
I think, am I making this up in my mind, but did Jaws, like Richard Kiel Jaws from Moonraker, wasn't there an after-credit scene, like after the credits he was like floating with his girlfriend in a space pod?
Oh my God, makes me want to go back and watch.
I'm pretty sure that that's what happened. But yeah, I mean, post-credit scenes and little zingers or wrap-ups or, oh, what happened to this? Or, hey, I'm chugging beer at the end of it, you know. Or, that's happened in a bunch of films. Unfortunately, I can't think of them right now. But
well, look at the prequels, even the Star Wars prequels, right? Even they had what you could consider an after-credit scene with the credits rolling, and then you hear the Darth Vader.
Right.
And that could be considered that, and that was long before the Marvel thing as well.
or like James Bond, all the movies always said James Bond will return in. So, you know, they've always given like teasers, so to speak, in some of these serialized movies. But whether or not DC does what Marvel has been doing, I mean, I'm neither here nor there. Like, I would rather a movie end, and then if you want to watch the credits, you can watch the credits. Marvel has made a thing now where it's like, hey, we've got not only one secret ending, we've got two. Maybe they might have three. And I think the Spider-Man film, which was actually done by Sony, actually had a secret ending in it as well. So there's a lot of people who are like taking that jump off of kind of the revitalized secret endings that Marvel's been making a trend now. Whether or not DC has to do it, I don't think they have to do it. Whether they should do it, it's kind of fun, I think. It's a little gimme to the fans, you know? And also, it's really important to sit through 10 minutes of credits.
You know, I'm going to go to the chat board here, and the
Whoa,
first one
I want
is...
to speak on this,
Oh,
John.
sorry, I thought you already did this. Okay, so go ahead.
Respect.
Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, I love these post-credit scenes. I don't care if they actually tie into the universe. Those are the ones I prefer, giving us a glimpse at what to expect, like the weird Guardians of the Galaxy one. I love that. But I look forward to this. It's a movie experience. We sit there with everyone else. When do we watch all the credits, other than that? Looking forward to what are they going to show us? It's just part of the experience, and I love that. I love anticipating and waiting for it, even if it has nothing to do with it, like Bruce and Tony on the couch, which was fabulous, or, you know, if it actually does tie into the universe. So I personally really enjoy them. It's become a staple of the Marvel films and so many other films. I do think it would be smart for DC to do it, but in their case, I don't think just throwing a random credit in. I think teasing what else we can expect is the way to go, because they do have to take a page out of their playbook a little bit. And I don't care if they do start to mirror Marvel a little bit. They need to step up their game. So I think we're in the process of seeing that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope we see one.
Okay, we're going to take just a couple quick things here from the chat board, and the first one isn't really, well, it sort of is a question, but a number of people in the chat board are saying something that I was going to laugh at you about, but now that I think about it, I think it might actually not be a bad idea. Some people are suggesting Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Now, I'll tell you what, at first, well, you know why I was going to laugh at first, because you all probably laughed when I just said that. But the more I think about it, it's funny, because I just read the latest issue of Aquaman last night. When he defeats the Atla, the former king of Atlantis, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all that. But you know what? Now that I've been reading the new Aquaman, New 52, and being on this side of the Justice League, Injustice, Gods Among Us stuff, that's great. I don't think they're doing it. I don't think that they're going to have Jason Momoa as Aquaman, but now that I think about it, I think that's a terrific idea. Now that what do you guys think?
I still prefer Lobo, Metallo, even Doomsday to lead into it personally, but I wouldn't be against it, but he wouldn't be in my top 3 choices.
But an Aquaman would make more sense, being a core Justice League thing. Right. Maybe.
I'd rather see him evil, to be honest.
That's not a bad idea either. What do you guys think?
I agree. I think he's a villain. I like to see him as a bad guy. He even has like the scar on the eyebrow.
Or super sarcastic like the other characters we mentioned. I think that's good for him.
But I do want to see Aquaman Justice League, though, truth be told.
Well, we have to.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, you know, everyone always thinks of Aquaman as that blonde guy who's like, I'm talking to a dolphin, jumping around in weird orange outfit. Why not change him up, make him a warlord from Atlantis, you know? I mean, look, they're bringing in Wonder Woman, so why not have Aquaman? And make him a little more badass.
I think Sam Claflin would be a good Aquaman, personally, and I just had that confirmed with Hunger Games.
There's also a few people, I mean, the Jason Momoa thing is a big thing in the chat boards right now. This is the last thing we'll take. So there are a number of people who are mentioning Jason Momoa as Bane. And that is...
That I'm into.
I like that.
That is
I like
also
that.
not a bad idea. What do you guys think?
I'm really into that. I actually think that he represents the kind of, intimidating, scary thing. Even though Tom Hardy's a short character,
right.
They presented it and shot it in such a way, but he has that menacing, like very authoritative character. I would really like to see him.
But can Jason Momoa speak like a really effeminate English butler?
We can all do that. Come on, we can all do that.
Well, you know what? I mean, Bane, the comic book character, is very intelligent. And they've never,
intelligent.
they've never done that. But they didn't do it in Batman and Robin. He was just a weird dude.
Yeah.
Like
He was just a
stuff.
monster.
He was a monster.
Yeah.
And then in this movie, he was like a very affected, talking, strange.
He was just the puppet of
puppet.
Thala.
So,
yeah.
Also disappointing. So it's like, I don't know, I really would prefer that Bane just like stays away for like 10, 15
See,
minutes.
here's the only... I don't mind the idea if they were doing a Bane film, I don't think at all they're going to be introducing a Bane in this film.
Yeah.
Bane is on his own is just too large of a story to throw into something like this.
Right.
That I just think that doesn't work. And you know what? There's so many comments in here that the comment board has frozen, so we really couldn't take any more comments anyway. We've run all out of time. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. I want to thank, first of all, our editor of Movie News here at AMC Movie News, Ms. Amy Rose Eisenbach. Amy Rose, where can people find you online?
On Twitter at Amy Rosie. Thank you so much for watching.
Our entertainment correspondent, Ms. Erin Darling. Erin, where can people find you?
Twitter at Erin A. Darling, Facebook Erin Darling fan page, and YouTube Erin Ashley D. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It was fun.
Our very own commentator over here, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
You can find me at Twitter and Instagram, John Schnepp. Check out the trailer for Hail to the King. It finally dropped on Machinima. It's on YouTube. And support my Kickstarter, Unicron, the Unicorn Barbarian.
Yes.
And, of course, our lovely host today, sitting over there in her own little area of the world, her own little island, Miss Ashley Mova. Ashley, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Ashley Mova.
And you can find me online at all the various social media networks, just at John Campia. Listen, folks, if you haven't done so already, if you're just visiting us for the first time, click on the subscribe button. Become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel, keeping you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news, including our daily AMC Movie Talk show and our weekend AMC Mailbag show. If you want an audio-only version of this episode, make sure you look in the description of this video, and you'll find links to our iTunes and our Stitcher Radio. Don't forget to visit us on Facebook and on Twitter and all around the web. And don't forget, the most important part of our show is absolutely not the half-witted things these people have to say and the quarter-witted things that I have to say. It's what you have to say. Make sure you jump into the comments and leave your thoughts on any or all of the topics that we discussed here today. So thanks so much for joining us for AMC Movie News. My name is John Campia, and until next time, bye-bye.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news, and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.